is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game.
Party!
That's right, Paul Heyman. Brock Purdy's back, baby. 49ers are back in the win column. Those huge preseason wins, man. You got to get them when you can. You got to capture it. You got to get that momentum heading into a season. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's a pregame show. Joe Spadoni. You got me for the next hour right here on 95.7 The Game before handing it off to Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. And we can talk about whatever you want over the weekend. A lot took place. Whether it was the final Bay Bridge series between the Oakland Athletics and San Francisco Giants as the teams split the series. Very fun game. I went to the one on Saturday, and honestly, it's probably going to be my last ever game at the Coliseum. Probably going to be it. For watching an A's game, I should say, because I know the Roots are playing there next year, so I should clarify. My last ever A's game at the Coliseum was probably on Saturday, and it was a tremendous atmosphere. Tremendous. It wasn't sold out. It was a pretty good crowd, though. And everyone was just having a good time. Giants fans, A's fan, like my section I was in, I was what, 201 over in the right field over there. No home runs. But everyone was having a good time and just relaxing, enjoying the atmosphere. And that's what ultimately we're going to miss the most. And just going to a place where we can all just have fun, watch the game. And yeah, the Coliseum's a dump, but it's our dump. It's just an excuse to go out there and hang out with your friends, your family. If you want to be by yourself, you need a mental health day. Just go out and just watch some baseball. Coliseum's easy. It's right there for a lot of people in the East Bay. And we're not going to get that, which sucks. But I am very pleased with what took place over this weekend. Just Giants and A's fans coming together. There's no stupid fights or anything, at least not in my section. There's always dumb idiots everywhere. It's kind of redundant, dumb idiot. But the tailgate was cracking all around. I know Sam was there. I know Evan was there. I saw Lucas. I saw Carter. I saw Justin. I saw Mark Grandy. My best friend's bachelor party started there. It ended at some point on Saturday into Sunday. I don't remember when, but we had a good time. And that's all we do remember. We had a good time. And I hope all you guys had a good time this weekend as well. We're getting back to school. If you're going back to school today, God bless you, parents, kids. Crack them books. Let's have a good time this show. Because it might not be a good time for the San Francisco 49ers if they don't get Trent Williams back into this rotation. I don't want to see any more Brock Purdy on that field in the preseason. I don't want to see Brock Purdy play quarterback without Trent Williams, quite frankly. And Trent Williams, obviously, all-pro left tackle for the 49ers, has been holding out for a new contract. Hasn't reported to camp. He's just chilling. And that was on full display yesterday when Jalen Moore slid in on left tackle and Brock Purdy took hit after hit after hit. Kyle Shanahan, did Brock take too many hits?
Yeah, I mean, you think about that all the time, but it's also part of football, and I think he protects himself well. If we felt he was in a tough situation, we wouldn't have, but a lot of quarterbacks play throughout the league, and each week's different. I think it helps Brock to play, and last year he didn't get to as much with his arm, but I thought it was good for him to get out there, even though it wasn't 2 great drives. And I know he was really wanting to do it, and hopefully it'll make him in a better position for this when we go to the Raiders.
Yeah, I didn't need to see that many drives from him, to be honest. I was cool after watching that offensive line real quick. I was like, yeah, I'm good. No Trent. Let's not put Brock in harm's way because we're an injury away from Josh Dobbs. And Josh Dobbs, he was solid yesterday. 12 of 21, 133 passing yards. Got the rushing touchdown, 3 carries, 25 yards on the ground. He was solid. I would probably prefer him as the backup over Brandon Allen. But again, and I know you're going to say, oh, well, backups are really important for San Francisco. Look at Jimmy Garoppolo. Look at Brock Purdy. That's fine. But for the most part, you get back to your backup quarterback, things are going to go bad. And yeah, you might win a game here or there. And maybe Dobbs can be that guy. And I'd probably pick him just because of the legs over Brandon Allen. He's inaccurate at times. Yeah, again, 12 of 21. It's not the sexiest completion percentage. But we saw enough, I think, from Dobbs last year in a spot starter role, whether it was with the Cardinals, whether it was with the Vikings. The guy can get it done. Now, he did get benched for Nick Mullins against the Raiders in Vegas last year. I do remember that. Nick Mullins got the win. I think it was a 3-0 win, too. The shutout. Or if it was like a 6-3. It was just, that was a gross game. But watching preseason football, I don't need my quarterback getting put in harm's way. I just don't. And here's the quarterback himself, Brock Purdy, on if he should have not gone out for a third series.
No, I mean, like I said, it's part of the game and stuff. So for me, I'm not out there freaking out about, oh my gosh, I'm not trying to get hit. Like that's not football. If I'm stepping out in the field, then obviously I know what's at stake in terms of it's a physical game. It's fast. Things happen. You're going to get hit. You're going to fall to the ground. So I know that. But at the same time, am I going to do some crazy scrambling and make up some stuff to try to move the ball? So you got to be smart in that sense. So.
Are the 49ers playing a fire right now, Trent Williams? Are they potentially setting themselves up for a week one without Trent Williams? Or are we just all freaking out? This is what happens. The 49ers, this is just how they do business, which I hate because we just excuse because they get the deals done at the very end like it's good business. No, it's not. And yes, Brian Baldinger was on last week and said, yes, Trent could probably slide right in because he's an offensive lineman and he can slide right in and they could be fine. But again, we said that last year with Nick Bosa. Great. Slide right in against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Great. It's going to linger throughout the year. This Brandon Ayuk stuff is going to linger throughout the year. Now, the Brandon Ayuk front, because I do think we've been talking so much about Brandon Ayuk, we've forgotten about just how important Trent Williams is on this team. Ayuk's young. He's a wide receiver, more flashy, more sexy. I get it. But there's nothing more sexy in the NFL than scoring points and running the football and protecting the quarterback. And that's what the left tackle, sometimes right tackle, provides. And that's what Trent Williams is, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, in the history of the sport at his position. And it was on full display in a preseason game, mind you. Preseason game. What's it going to be like week one against a legit top 10 defense in the New York Jets? That scares me. Last thing I need is my quarterback who's finally healthy and Brock Purdy getting his ass kicked in week one. Oh, that's football. That's football. That's great. It's a long season. Brock, it's great that he put on more weight. He's trying to get buff daddy. It's great. I don't need him taking unnecessary punishment and getting hurt early on in the year because we couldn't give our Hall of Fame left tackle more money. Now, having said that, do I think this was childish of Trent Williams? Do I think this was out of left field? He's within his rights as a player to ask for more money at the position because he is the best at his position. But he's also super old. He just is. In football years, Trent Williams at 36 going on 37 years old, you're hitting old man territory here. Now, he just turned 36. It's going to be 37 next July. But then you're starting to wonder, I'm re-upping a contract here. I'm extending him more years. Till when? Till he's 38? 39? And then what is he going to be? Like, that's great. For every Jason Peters out there, there's going to be, a Tony Baselli who was, 5-6 years, and then he was done. Now, he was a Hall of Famer. Maybe that's an unfair comparison, but it's a very slippery slope here. So that's why I understand the 49ers, at least seemingly prioritizing Brandon Ayuk in these negotiations because he is young. It is the market right now, and they need to figure that out. And then they could figure out Trent Williams stuff. But I hear 49ers fans a lot. I saw it a lot in the text. Hey, we should have been prioritizing Trent Williams. Yes. Trent Williams is more important to this offense than Brandon Ayuk. But at the same time, I do think that Ayuk should be ahead of him within the contract negotiations. If you disagree with that, 888-957-9570. Another thing that's interesting, and I see Oreo Cookie out in Oakland who wants to chime in on this, and 888-957-9570. Again, call or text the Xfinity Mobile text line. What's your main takeaway from the sports weekend? Well, we still got to get into that report that came out yesterday in regards to the Warriors and LeBron James. We'll get to that. I'll explain that in a little bit. Rich Paul. God, that guy. 2 first names. Can't trust those guys. I'm just telling you. My dad always said, can't trust someone with 2 first names. Just saying. But anything you want to talk about over the weekend, if you're at the Bay Bridge series, I want to hear from you. Final one ever. Giants take the win yesterday, 4-2. A's on Saturday has a guy I never even heard of pitching for the A's, just almost threw a no-no. I was like, who is this? And I was pissed. No Mason Miller. I was like, what are we doing here? Didn't get to see Mason Miller in person. Very upset about that. Got to see him yesterday if you were at the game. Probably should have pitched 2 innings again because he's that freaking good. But I digress. Let's go out to Oreo Cookie in Oakland. And you can hit us up on Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Search 95.7 The Game, all on those platforms. Like, subscribe. And you can follow me at Spadoni_Joe on Twitter. Oreo, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? Happy Monday.
Yes, sir.
Start of the week. Let's get it. But I think we drafted a wide receiver. I think his name is Ricky Pearsall.
I've heard of him.
Have you seen him?
I've heard of him.
Have you seen him?
I can't see his face, though. Oreo, where's he at?
What number is he? What number was he on the field? How many catches did he have? Man, I think, now that we're doing this, and we're doing it this way, we need Brandon Ayuk back real quick. I was always against paying the man because we didn't know what his target was, but now that we do know, which is about 28 to 30 million, give the guy his money. Get him out in the field. Let's go.
That's Oreo Cookie out in Oakland, 888-957-9570. Yeah, Ricky Pearsall is day-to-day right now and is expected to return this week, hopefully. So, take that for what it's worth. He has a shoulder injury. Jacob Cowing, though, I'll tell you what, man. That Jacob Cowing, he does have a burst in a ferocity in which he plays that I appreciate. Not saying he's going to overtake Ricky Pearsall, but I like what I saw from Jacob Cowing. Again, preseason, you know how nuts preseason is right now? Preseason is so nuts. I saw a post yesterday. I think it was Coward actually had this. Colin Coward. Bo Nix is going to end up being the best quarterback of this draft class. I saw that. After 2 preseason games, Bo Nix of the University of Oregon, or is it OU? I always hate that. It's actually Oregon University. I always hate that. I almost said the other word, but I'm not going to. I'm just very relaxed this morning. Something might have slipped through there. But Bo Nix stuff, and that's when you know we're already at preseason. And maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment too, because I saw Caleb Williams on Saturday just look insane. He was doing he looked like Patrick Mahomes. He looked like the guy we were comping him to at the NFL level. And by the way, did you see Patrick Mahomes in the preseason? You know what Patrick Mahomes does in the preseason? He just throws it behind his back to his tight end for first downs. Behind his back, Sam. Patrick Mahomes throws behind his back better than some quarterbacks just throw normally. No, it's a fact. I watched a lot of bad quarterback play over the weekend. I watched
behind the back thrower of the quarterback.
Yes. I watched Trey Lance, Gardner Minshew, and Aiden O'Connell. And Trey Lance didn't look half bad. Great. He's a number 3 overall pick. He's a third stringer. He's playing against a third string defense. Congratulations, Trey. And I don't mean to harp on Trey Lance. But again, it's preseason football. Everyone take a deep breath on stuff. It's very easy to jump out ahead of your skis and with all these hot takes. So everyone take a deep breath. Hopefully Trent Williams comes back. Hopefully got Brandon Ayuk. And I do feel like we have turned a corner with the Ayuk talks. Or he's not going to Pittsburgh. From all accounts, all the reports I'm seeing, reading between the tea leaves, he's going to be a 49er. And the latest is that 4th year per Mark Garofalo of NFL Network. That 4th year now for Brandon Ayuk in these contract talks. So we still wait. We're still waiting. on Brandon Ayuk, and it feels like it's just going to keep going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny. But it does feel like we are making some progress with all these latest reports, and that Pittsburgh feels like a distant second, if anything, and that the Niners are in prime position to get their guy back. Now, once they get him back, they got to prioritize Trent Williams. Speaking of Trent Williams, here is Kyle Shanahan talking about Trent and why he's optimistic it'll still get done.
You did express confidence that the Trent situation will eventually be resolved. Is that a fair characterization?
Yes, I think so.
What gives you the optimism that is just maybe a matter of time?
I think we got to work out a contract thing, and I think Trent, I haven't spoken to him, but I think we'll be able to work that out.
Hey, Kyle Shanahan, have you had to plan for a regular season without Trent Williams?
I make plans to move forward with everybody. I'm not just whether it's a contract issue. I mean, from the perspective of a coach going through with contract stuff, I just try to equate it to, we have big plans for Trent at tackle. We got big plans for BA, but just as easily as a contract thing holding him out, they could also come and get hurt the first day and not have him the rest of the year. You know, in 2020, we planned on having Bosa the whole year, and he tore his ACL in week 2. Same with Jimmy in his second year. He tore his ACL in week 3. The result's not much different. You got to always be ready for stuff as a coach like that. So that's what you plan every day, whether they're here or not.
Again, Kyle Shanahan can't guarantee that anyone will be alive on Sunday, and that goes for all of us. So he can't guarantee that Trent Williams will be there at the start of week 1 against the New York Jets on Monday Night Football at Levi's Stadium. So all the sagas just keep going on. Ayuk, Trent Williams, we'll see. It is exhausting. It really is. For the fans, for the coaches, for the players, for everything. As this stuff lingers on, it does feel just exhausting. But football is right around the corner. It's so close. We can taste it. We can taste football. Oh, I'm so excited. We got the fantasy league starting back up this week. Hey, we got Ken in the back. Kenny. He's about to get his ass kicked in fantasy football this year. I'll know that. Ken's going to take some L's. That's all right. Former co-champion over here. I say co-champion because I still got the pot, half the pot. It was one of those where it's first and second. And I made the deal before. I was like, I need this money. I need it. It was during the pandemic season, baby. You're damn right I needed some. I also need to know if the 49ers have a legit punt returner. And that's kind of the one thing that I always look at in preseason is the special teams, because that's like stuff you can actually like quantify in preseason and look at and take away from. Like Jake Moody last year was shaky in the preseason, and he kind of shaky throughout the regular season at times. Missed the game-winning kick in Cleveland, blocked extra point in the Super Bowl. Although in the playoffs he wasn't as concerning, at least for me. Although he did have some missed kicks, but those 50-yard those ones, the 50+, I have no worries about them. It's like those intermediate 40 to 50s. And yesterday, I want to say he missed one. Wait, didn't he? Correct. He did. Sorry, preseason football. I try to have hardcore analysis at home watching it, but it's hard to have that pass with the misses with the two kids. Like, oh, what are we watching? I was like, oh, it's this preseason game. Preseason? That's all she said. Preseason game too? I was like, yeah, but Brock's starting. I don't care. It's preseason. I was like, but honey, yeah, that's how my Sunday night went. It's okay. I had a nice smoothie. Calmed me down. We're chilling. We're big chilling. But yes, I think you could take away from the preseason the punt return game and Jacob Cowing potentially being that guy.
Yeah, I mean, we want to figure out whoever the best punt returner is on our 53. I mean, he looked pretty good today. We drafted him hoping that he could have the potential to do it. Tonight was really the first time that we were able to get him out there, and he's had a week of being healthy, so he's definitely got a chance to, but tonight was a step in the right direction.
So Jacob Cowing, 5'8", $170, out of Arizona. He's a Wildcat. First team All-Conference USA back in 2021. Second team All-Conference USA back in 2020 when he was a part of Texas at El Paso for a couple seasons. Small guy, but he's fast. He's fast. And he runs a 4.38 40. And I want speed in my punt returners. I don't want the big bruiser. No. I want speed and hands. And Cowing has got that. That burst is no joke. And that's an element that this 49ers team has been missing for quite some time. That speed in that return game. And now that we have this new kickoff, which I'm still trying to just get my head wrapped around it, and it'll probably become the norm, hopefully. But right now, it's just not. My brain is just not allowing me to like enjoy this whenever I see it. I was like, this just isn't right. Because you're just so used to normal kickoffs, kicking through the end zone. And maybe that's how it is for people in baseball watching the Ghost Runner. Like, the Ghost Runner for a lot of people is just synonymous with these new rules. And it's just like, this isn't real baseball. There's no time limit, but now we're kind of putting a time limit on. We're trying to get things ended quicker. Well, yeah, the television product aspect of it. But now the NFL's always been about the television product. Much longer than Major League Baseball, who's kind of adopted that as of late. NBA's also been at the forefront of that as a television product. And they want more safety, but potentially more explosive plays. So if we do finally see some kick returns for touchdowns, then sure, maybe I am all for it. But I don't really, again, I talked about this last week. I was on my soapbox doing this sort of stuff. Unless you have a Devin Hester or like a Josh Cribbs, it's whatever for me. It is. Cordell Patterson for a second. That was another guy. Unless you have one of those guys, it's really just great. Can you get me to the 30-yard line? That's all I'm asking for. Get me past the 25 now. All right. Kyle Shanahan. Did Brock take too many hits yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, you think about that all the time, but it's also part of football, and I think he protects himself well. If we felt he was in a tough situation, we wouldn't have, but a lot of quarterbacks play throughout the league, and each week's different. I think it helps Brock to play, and last year he didn't get to as much with his arm, but I thought it was good for him to get out there, even though it wasn't 2 great drives. And I know he was really wanting to do it, and hopefully it'll make him in a better position for this when we go to the Raiders. Yes, but I mean, you always feel like we've had to win a number of ways, a number of times here, so you look at that each week, even when you feel your offense is firing on all cylinders, you still, what's the best way to win a game? And that changes week in and week out. And I like to think we're built to do it a lot of different ways. I think we have done it a lot of different ways in our tenure here. And that's kind of what we always talk about. What does it take to win? And you try to figure that out by studying, putting together a game plan, and you do what you can in the game to find a way, and you really don't care how it looks or what happens. You just do whatever you can to win.
I do agree the 49ers are built to win in multiple ways, at least from their talent. But is Kyle Shanahan, and year whatever we're in now, in the Kyle Shanahan era in San Francisco, are they built to win multiple ways? Can he adapt? That's something I'm looking at with Kyle this season. Yeah, he can adapt with quarterbacks. He can make them go into his offense. Can he open that up? Can he lose a Christian McCaffrey and then all of a sudden still run the ball? Now, he's done it multiple times. Matt Breida, right? He's back. He's done it before in the past. Raheem Mostert, all these different players. But this season, he might be asked, I don't have Christian McCaffrey one day. I don't have Trent Williams. I don't have a Brandon Ayuk. And how things change there. That's on the quarterback, though, too. That's on Brock Purdy. And I am fascinated to see Brock Purdy this season. Not because I don't think he's not going to be good. I think he's going to be really good. I think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback again this season. I do. I could be a top 5 like he was for a good portion of last season and an MVP candidate. That remains to be seen. Expectations are so high this year for the 49ers. It's going to feel tense. I keep going back to that word for this season. Tense. There's tension in the air. Whether it's the players trying to get their money, whether it's the players like Debo and George Kittle feeling like this is their last little opportunity potentially as a 49ers player to win a Super Bowl. Tension for Nick Bosa to bounce back from a disappointing season that coming off a DPOI just a season prior to that. And yeah, Brock Purdy is a contract season. He's probably going to get $300 million. But if he struggles throughout the season. Maybe that changes. Maybe he has to take less. And now he's messing with his own pockets. Now, going from Mr. Irrelevant still to $100 million at the least. It's still a lot of money, right? Sounds nice. But he wants that security like all the other top guys get. And his agent, whoever the hell it is, I'm sure is telling that to him too. He's like, hey, look at all your stats. Look at this in your first full season in the NFL. You know what you did? You're an MVP candidate. Yeah, please. We're not settling for anything. And don't give me Tom Brady. And speaking of Tom Brady, and I was talking about Tom Brady and just taking one for the team when it came to finances. Helps to do that when, for most of your career, your wife was a model and made more than you. But no Tom Brady on the call yesterday, man. He was doing the ghost call with Kevin Burkhardt and Adam Amin and Mark Sanchez for Fox Sports. We're on the call. I love them. Great duo. All love for Adam Amin. Great radio guest, too. We're talking some basketball with him because he does the Chicago Bulls television side for NBC Sports Chicago. And I'm sure he's very tapped in on Caleb Williams and the Bears. I think Adam Amin's a Chicago native. But I wanted to hear some Tom Brady yesterday. But I guess we're going to have to wait till whatever. I think they've showed the game that he was going to broadcast first. I think it's Bills. Who the Bills got week 1? Bills week 1. Bills Cardinals? Is that the game? That's not very sexy, if that is the game. I'll get in on that. We got to take a quick break, though. Come on back. More of your calls, more of your text. Are you concerned about the offensive line, 49ers fans, and Trent Williams? Should he have been the priority over Brandon Ayuk all this time during contract negotiations? I want to get your thoughts on that. Plus more of the Giants and A's Bay Bridge Series. Giants and A's split. It's the last time they'll be playing each other in the Bay Bridge Series. It'll be the Sacramento A's of Las Vegas next year, and it just won't be the same. It won't be the same. On 95.7 The Game.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath.
Spadoni. You're listening to the pregame show with Joe Spadoni right here on 95.7 The Game.
Oh my God, what was that? Was that Bonte attempting to do an Italian accent? Walt, yeah, is he? Boppity boopity Bonte? Is that what we're doing now?
Joe Spadoni. You're listening to the pregame show with Joe Spadoni right here on 95.7 The Game.
I like Shaska's just like now in the background of that. Just no. He's out on that whole impression. That's fine. Hey, if you want to, send me a rejoin. We're doing that on the morning roast all the time. You can just hit up Bonte or Shasky, slide into their DMs, just slide into mine. Send me a rejoin. I'll do one. That's fine. I'll put it in there. So you're listening to the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. Just do it. Whoever you are, say your name. I got some people. I got to upload one after the show. Hey, I'm all about the people, baby. This is a people show. Good morning to all you lovely people just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for the school week. School is back. If you're on vacation, wherever you're at, if you're all around the world, we're on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Go ahead and search 95.7 The Game on any of those platforms. Like and subscribe. Hey, we love it. We love you. We want to give the love back. You're all a part of this station. And by the way, speaking of that, we want to give the love back. We want 10 people and one guest, they each get one guest, to come have breakfast with us. Yeah. The morning roast. And not just the pregame show. It's too early for breakfast for me. I don't really eat breakfast, to be honest with you. Do the intermittent fasting. I just drink a lot of water and I have some tea or coffee in the morning. And then I start eating at 12 o'clock. It sounds very depressing, but once your body starts getting adjusted to it, it does wonders. I'll tell you that. Just look at this beautiful face. Doesn't this look like just the peak? You know, if you're on Twitter or Twitch and you can just hear it through the radio, it's just, I look like I'm 20 years old and even though I'm 31. Just don't let the salt and pepper fool you. All this week, between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, your chance to come in on Friday, September 6th, and have breakfast with the guys. Lubman, Spadoni, Bonte, Shasky. You'll say hi to Matt Nahigian. Lucas will be here. Our promo crew will be here, I'm sure. So be listening all this week on the morning roast, 7:30 and 8:30. There's going to be 2 different times that you can qualify in that 30-minute window. So probably around 7:40 and 7:50, play a sounder. I'm not going to play it yet. I'll let the guys do that. And that will be your opportunity to call in, and they'll give the contest line again. We'll be qualifying 10 people, and they get a +1. So it'll be about 20 people coming in September 6th, Friday, having breakfast with us. There you go. I wonder what we're going to have for breakfast. What are they going to serve? Is it going to be Jack's? Is it going to be Proposition Chicken? Oh, hey, anything, man. Anything your heart desires. Is that Cinderella or something like that? All right. My heart desires us to stop worrying about Brock Purdy taking a couple pushes and shoves yesterday. It's preseason football. Don't play him in game 3. He'll be fine. And just hope that Trent Williams comes back, because that's the one. Like, get Brock taking some shoves or anything, and whatever. But Trent Williams is not being there. If you don't have Trent Williams, you're not winning a Super Bowl. I'll repeat. If you don't have Trent Williams, you're not winning a Super Bowl. I can only say that about a couple people on the 49ers. If you don't have them, I don't view you as a Super Bowl contender. And only a few teams that are legit Super Bowl contenders you can say that about. And I'm going to exclude the quarterback from that because that's basically the same for any contender. You lose that guy, you're probably done. But I look at Trent Williams for the Niners. They don't have him, they're not winning a Super Bowl. I don't view it the same as Brandon Ayuk. Like, if they lose out on Ayuk for whatever reason, and I do think they're going to end up retaining him, I do think that's a possibility. But if he ends up getting traded, if something changes in the last week or so and he goes to Steelers, I still think the 49ers are Super Bowl contenders. I do. Will it be harder? Sure. But I believe in Kyle Shanahan. I believe in that offense. I believe in the players they have around him. And I believe in Brock Purdy. I also believe in Harvey Dent. So you lose Trent. You lose a chance at a Super Bowl. You lose a Travis Kelce if you're the Chiefs. You lose a chance at a Super Bowl. That's how important he is for that team. You lose, let's go, Who do we got on the Baltimore Ravens? Mark Andrews? Well, he came back. They were winning without him for a little bit. I would have said him. Zay Flowers? Who on defense can you not lose there? Roquan Smith? Probably. But even then, like if the Niners, and again, knock on wood, Fred Warner leaves, yeah, that would be brutal because no Dre Greenlaw right now. That might be one, just defensively. But it's a very few, a select few that you can lose on a Super Bowl team that it really hinders a team. You could possibly say Chris Jones on the Chiefs as well. Few defensive players. Nick Bosa, maybe. If you want to go there, then your depth is really going to be tested. And good luck. Here's more from Kyle Shanahan when asked, and I believe this was on Friday, if this rookie class is good enough to have an immediate impact on this season.
You know, you hope that's not the case, but that's stuff you can't control, and it's always next man up. And we've had a number of rookies who've got a lot of reps here in training camp who've done very well with their opportunity, and I think those guys will be ready. We'll see if they need to be.
Well, I like Jacob Cowing already, rookie out of Arizona. Fast, speedy. I like what I see from him. Haven't seen Ricky yet. Run, Ricky, run. Haven't seen Slick Rick Pearsall. We'll wait. Day-to-day with the shoulder injury. Again, and I like that. Rookies dealing with you missing a lot of crucial training camp / preseason reps when you're supposed to be building this time with your wide receiver, with your other, I should say with your quarterback and with your other wide receiver group. Like, it's tough. And I feel for Ricky, but he's got to try to get back on that field. The problem is, and as Herm Edwards, who coached from Arizona State, has reported in the past, hey, Ricky's that kind of guy. He only has one way to go, and that's balls to the wall, 100 miles per hour every single time. He's going to attack the day like Jim Harbaugh with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. That's Ricky Pearsall. That's what he does. But when you're rehabbing, you got to take it slow. You got to take it steady. And I don't know how and if he's dealing with these injury bugs throughout his career, how he's going to handle it. That's going to be a big question mark for him at this point early on in his career. How do you handle this type of adversity when you're a young guy, when you're itching to get out there, when you know you have an opportunity with Brandon Ayuk holding out? This could have been a valuable opportunity for you to get some eyeballs from the coaching staff, from the general manager, from everybody, from the fans. Like that's a big thing. Like imagine Ricky Pearsall playing yesterday and he all of a sudden had a connection with Purdy and Dobbs and wow, hey, Brandon Ayuk who? Like, that's what we're talking about. But we're not even seeing him. And when you don't see something, it's out of sight, out of mind, you forget about them. In any walk of life, in any profession, in this profession, when I'm not on air and stuff like that, when I'm gone for a while, and it's just like, oh man, people will forget. That's what happens. People forget. And if we haven't seen enough of you, we're definitely going to forget. I hope you don't forget this show. 888-957-9570. You can find the entire show after it's over. Just go on our YouTube page. I do a separate live stream, so you can find that entire thing. Go hit live, and you'll find the pregame show of that day. Whole thing right there. Super easy, super convenient, and it's right at your fingertips. Just download that YouTube app on your phone or if you've on your desktop, what have you. Also, you can go on the Odyssey app. You can find everything there. It is free as well, and you can find thousands of other stations there. All right, we got to take one more break. Come on back. Wait till you hear what was reported yesterday in regards to the Warriors and LeBron James. That's coming up next on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Are you ready to boost your game at work?
higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Joe Spadoni. You're listening to the pregame show with Joe Spadoni right here on 95.7 The Game.
I'll be using that one. Oh, we'll be using that one. One more segment before handing it off to that guy, Abante Hill and Joe Shasky, 6 o'clock. Monday through Friday, you can get them every single week right here on 95.7 The Game. And again, be listening all week long, morning roast between 7:30 and 8 o'clock for not one, but 2 chances to qualify to have breakfast with the roast. We love having breakfast with you. That would be on September 6th. So again, be listening all week long between 7:30 and 8 o'clock on the morning roast for your chance to come eat breakfast with us in the studio, at the station. Come say hi to everyone. It'll be a good time. Okay. We've been talking about it, and we were just talking about it off air. Just Brock Purdy playing yesterday in week 2 of the preseason. But why didn't you have any of the other starters out there with him? What was the point of Brock Purdy playing yesterday? Was it just simply to get him some in-game reps, to get a feel? Does he need that at this point? Is what I would ask, number one. And number two, if you are trying to get him some reps out there, wouldn't working with the guys he's actually going to be playing with be most beneficial? Whether it's Kittle, whether it's Debo, right? I know you can't have Ayuk out there. I know you don't have Trent Williams out there, but like, don't you want those guys out there too? Right? I did see Christian McCaffrey chopping up with Tom Brady pregame. Saw Julian Edelman there saying he says Ayuk should want to be in San Francisco week 1. Julian Edelman doing that. You know what? As a broadcaster, he's getting better. He's a good interview, though. Julian Edelman. Did not have that on my radar throughout his career. And again, it's New England, so I know he's a fiery guy. Him and Tom always at it, hanging out. Really good, though. Podcaster, all that sort of stuff. Team Julian Edelman, Redwood City Zone. But I was a little disappointed I didn't get to hear TB12 and Kevin Burkhardt on the call. Adam Amin, Mark Sanchez did a great job. Let's hear from Adam Amin and Mark Sanchez. Come on, Josh Dobbs, we got to play this one, right?
4 to 10. Dobbs the pump. Dobbs the throw. Separation outside. It's caught. Jacob Cowing right on cue. First and goal, San Francisco. 39-yard strike in the bucket for Cowing. Little read. Dobbs the QB staying on his feet and somersaults home for the touchdown over Jordan Howden. Not the cleanest takeoff for the Pastronaut, but just enough to get past the goal line.
The Pastronaut. Oh, God. That nickname. And what is his parents worked for NASA or something like that? Josh Dobbs? Is that what it was? I mean, I always get this take confused, right? Let's see. No, his mom worked for UPS. Okay, why do they call him the Pastronaut? Did he play at NASA? Did he get a scholarship there? He's the founder of Astroordinary Dobbs Foundation. Okay. Why do they call him the Pastronaut? I thought there was like some sort of NASA-related thing. Am I missing this with Josh Dobbs? Help me out, text line, 888-957-9570. Okay, that's what it was. He spent a month at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. That's it? Earn a master's degree before applying for NASA's highly competitive program. Okay, so he has to get, he wants to do, so he has an aerospace engineering degree. All right, that makes sense. Now, see, that's what we do our research here. On the fly if we need to. Probably should have looked into that before the show, but you know what? Sometimes that wasn't on my radar. And then I heard Adam Amin, and I recalled, I was like, that's right, the Pastronaut. Okay. I'm not mad at you, Josh Dobbs. I do think right now he's the leader in the clubhouse for number 2 quarterback. And maybe that third and final preseason game is between Dobbs and Brandon Allen. Who's going to get that job? We shall see. We do know that last preseason game for a certain NFL team determined who quarterback one's going to be week 1 of the regular season. That was the Raiders as they took on the Trey Lance-led Dallas Cowboys, and Gardner Minshew is going to be the starter week 1 over Aiden O'Connell, who threw a pick 6 in that game at Allegiant Stadium. And I think that's the first big mistake from Antonio Pierce as full-time head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, no longer interim. I'd probably roll just Aiden O'Connell if I was him. You know what you have with Gardner Minshew. Anytime you have to just associate a quarterback with magic, probably means it's not going to last very long. And the Minshew magic stuff, that's fine. He's great spot starter if you need him to be at times. But for a full season, and I get it, he basically did that with the Colts last year, and they're knocking on the door. Luke Getsy is not Shane Steichen. Offensive coordinator for the Raiders is not what the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts is. Steichen is legit offense innovator. He is good. He was great with the Eagles and Jalen Hurts and them. I thought he did a hell of a job last year on that team when he got Michael Pittman, when he got Jonathan Taylor, and now a healthy Anthony Richardson. Can he stay healthy? That's going to be the key for him because the talent's undeniable. But can he put it all together? We'll see this season. But Minshew wins that job. And I'd probably just roll with Aiden O'Connell, though, if it was me. Why? Well, first of all, I'd like to see the young guy and see what he has potential to be. And I get it. And listen, I'm a Raider fan. I'm delusional at times, but I'm not delusional enough to think that this team is a playoff team this season in the gauntlet that is the AFC. Like, I'd rather go with the unknown of Aiden O'Connell still than the already known of Gardner Minshew. And there's still a lot we don't know about Aiden O'Connell. I'd rather go with that. He's a younger guy. He has the potential maybe to be a starter. And if he's not, then you'll find out this year, then you stink, and then you go draft a quarterback or you go try to sign one if Dak hasn't signed yet or something. But just being in that mediocre land means you're not going to get a quarterback. And then you're just going to be stuck with where you were this past season, where you couldn't draft Michael Penix because someone else traded up for him. You couldn't get Bo Nix. And if you wanted Bo Nix, I don't know. Broncos certainly did. Caleb Williams, you couldn't get him. You couldn't get Jaden Daniels. You couldn't get Drake May. You couldn't get J.J. McCarthy. You couldn't get any of the guys. So you were stuck with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. And just roll with the young guy. I do think this is going to be a mistake from Antonio Pierce. And I do think it's going to be something that's going to be juggling all season long. And if the Raiders' defense isn't as advertised, and it's being advertised as a legit unit this year, with Christian Wilkins, the addition of him, you got Jack Jones, you got Max Crosby, you got Malcolm Kuntz. You got a lot of guys there. Nate Hobbs. If that defense isn't humming, this is going to be a long season in Las Vegas. It's possibly, it's just, stop me if you heard that before, if you're a Raider fan. Long season ahead. It could have been, and it could be, a long season ahead for the Golden State Warriors, depending on your expectations of the team in a couple months' time when we get Warriors basketball back. And there was a report that leaked yesterday from Mark Stein on Substack. Quote, sources say Rich Paul, who is LeBron James' longtime agent, Clutch Sports, sources say Paul implored both the Lakers and the Warriors to scrap the concept of LeBron joining the Warriors via trade. Despite some owner-to-owner dialogue between the Warriors' Joe Lacob and the Lakers' Jeannie Buss and Draymond Green's determination to lobby James to push for relocation to the Bay Area, largely because he wanted to insulate James from potential backlash over switching teams for the fourth time in his career. So basically, Rich Paul nixed the entire thing between the Warriors and Lakers because he was worried about LeBron James's image. Interesting. How much of that do I believe? It might have been a part of it. Do I believe that Rich Paul and LeBron had a dialogue and was like, hey man, like, you could do this, but it would be not great for your career ending there. And maybe LeBron's like, you know what? You've been with me from day one. I agree with you. He's a confidant. He's a close friend, like a family member to him. And he probably has a massive, massive sway over what he wanted to do at the end of his career. Now, do I think LeBron going to the Warriors would have made him a pariah around the league? If it's a trade, I don't think so. Now, he'd have to sign off. He'd have to okay it and all that. But I don't understand the notion that a guy that's already been a part of 3 different franchises and has been a finals MVP on 3 different franchises, by the way, which is insane. And going to a 4th one and potentially doing that again and having an opportunity to do that with Stephen Curry, that's somehow going to make his image worse. I don't buy that logic at all. In fact, it's actually pretty smart if you're LeBron James to go to the Warriors, because that's basically the one fan base that truly still hates you is the Stephen Curry Golden State Warriors fan base. And if you brought a championship with them, then they can't hate you. And all of a sudden, you flipped all those people. Maybe the Steph fans a little bit of a reach because there's always a rivalry between those guys. Just ask Kevin Durant and Steph Curry fans. But Warriors fans, yeah. You'd see the LeBron James jerseys real quick. That's a fact. All right. I'm sure Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky will have thoughts on that. Have thoughts on the Bay Bridge series, the final one there. And have thoughts on 49ers preseason game 2, in which the Niners got the win 16-10 over the Saints. The Giants got the win over the A's 4-2. And I'm hoping for a win from the Morning Roast this morning on 95.7 The Game. Have a good morning, everybody.
You're listening to 95.